Greetings, YouTube. One Erlyndon Joseph Joey Lowe, 27, of Plano, Texas, filed documents last Friday saying that his religious beliefs entitled him to use deadly force to prevent an abortion. He listed the name of a clinic, its address, and the time he was going to show up, noon that day. Which I guess is really convenient because normally these kinds of nut jobs don't tell people when they're going to exactly commit an atrocious crime, nor where it's going to be. So, that was thoughtful of him. Not surprisingly, he was arrested. He was viewed as a danger to the public, which is what he is. Now, before I go any further, I know there are people that have very strong emotional feelings about the concept of abortion. I understand this. I respect your right to hold those beliefs. I respect your right to discuss those beliefs in print or in person on video. I do not argue with you about that. But, as much as it may pain you, abortions are legal medical procedures. Conducting one within the United States is not a crime. However, threatening to use violence against another person is a crime, as is actually using violence against another person. So I know that's going to upset some people, and I'm sorry. But having faith, being a theist, is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It does not mean that you can simply say, oh, well, my God said it's all right, so just hold still while I shoot you. It doesn't work that way. If your holy book or your deity tells you that something is bad, then don't do it. If your deity tells you that you should have a firm belief that a policy or a medical procedure or a political stance is incorrect, don't hold those. And if someone asks you about them, freely express your opinion. But don't judge others who are not a member of your faith, who do not ascribe to your holy book, based upon your personal religious tenets. Do not hold others to your tenets if they are, in fact, not a member of your faith. And that is what this person here in Texas has done. They have decided that their religious view of the world is so important that it is their right to impose that view upon others, and that they will use violence to do so. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how we don't have this person listed as a terrorist, because that is what he's attempting to do. Use terror, violence, and the threat of violence to modify how other people live their lives. That's pretty much the textbook definition of a terrorist. Terrorism isn't just about committing an atrocious crime. It's about affecting the lives of all those that were never even involved in the crime. About making them question how they believe and how they think and how they act. That's the true horror in terrorism. The people that it kills, that it maims, that it wounds, those may be the primary victims of the crime. But the collateral damage is to the emotional and psychological well-being of the entire community that the crime takes place in. So don't go applying your view of the universe onto others. That's not your job. If you believe in a God and you think that that God is going to judge people poorly because of their actions, then let that job be done by your God. They don't need your help. The gods who help those who help themselves. Take care of yourself. Live the best life you can. Live by the guidelines that you hold dear. But do not expect others to follow suit. That isn't asking a lot. Live and let live. That's all. Now, again, I am aware that abortion is a hot button issue in this nation, or it is in many places, but particularly in America, it pervades politics. And I am still of the opinion that abortion will always remain legal in the U.S. because it is too valuable to be used by politicians as a hot button legal issue. If it were to be made illegal, What would they use to replace it? There isn't any other issue that hot, any button that big. So it does them much more good from their political standpoint so that it remains legal, and it just becomes a controversy. And I should also point out that if abortions were ever made illegal, it wouldn't stop abortions. All it would do is put women's lives at risk. So remember that next time you're advocating abolishing abortions. You're just going to put the health and well-being of women's lives at risk. You aren't going to stop abortions. They happened before it was legal. They will happen if it ever becomes illegal. It isn't going to stop them. Sometimes people just don't want to carry a fetus. You have to accept that fact. This person couldn't. And they ended up becoming a whack job. And now they're under arrest. And they're likely to be found guilty because, they put all these threats in writing and then sent them to a judge. So there isn't a whole lot of arguing in that case. Though if the person's lucky, they'll just be declared insane and they'll be put into some kind of institution somewhere. Because obviously they really do need some help. So I'm hoping that this instance can convince people that maybe they should keep their religious beliefs to themselves. Stop proselytizing. Stop trying to apply their beliefs to others and expecting other people to live by them. Because that is arrogance. Arrogance of the highest order. To think that your religious beliefs are so important that everyone else should follow them. And I don't really know many gods that like arrogance on that level.